Okay, so in today's video, we're going to be talking about the prayer functionality in our Scripture app. As we all know, prayer is insanely important. Okay, so prayer, if you're going to be a great defender of the faith, you got to be able to pray, and you got to be able to have that connection and that communication with God each and every day, right? And this is something we're trying to encourage, something we're trying to foster here with the Scripture app. So we wanted to give you a way to be able to track your prayer life a little bit better. So if you come up here on the top tab, you can see here that we have a prayer tab, a dedicated prayer tab. So let's click on that. All right, this is going to open up our prayer list menu. So first thing you do when you open up the prayer list, obviously you need to add some prayers. So let's just make one right now. Let's say we're going to pray for our pastor. And then we'd say, what am I praying? That God would give him strength. So if I'm praying for this for my pastor specifically, I'm going to add a tag because this is for my church. I'm praying for my church. So add that there. Now, one good thing we like to do is we like to pray through Scripture, right? Giving God's words back to Him. This is something I found that's helped me in my own prayer life. So it's something that I wanted to incorporate here. So when I go to add Scripture, I've already got some pre-selected verses here. I'll be adding more of these with time. But if you have a specific verse you want to attach, you can come over here. You can type it in. And just examine it. You would do like that, and you could add the scripture that way, right? And this is based off whatever version you have in your account settings. For me, I like to go over here, and I like to go to the topic verses, guidance. I want my pastor to have guidance. So I would say I want to pray through this. So I would add this verse, all right? And I can add as many as I want for these verses. I can also choose to put it on the public prayer wall. If a verse is on the public prayer wall, then other users who use Scripture app can also see this, and they can pray as well. So we'll just, for right now, we'll put it on the prayer wall, and we'll review it, and then we see that the prayer is on the prayer wall. Now, the prayer does go through an approval process. You can't put anything you want on the prayer wall. I mean, obviously, we go through some automated checks to make sure that everything on the prayer wall is appropriate. So you can see at the top, this was what the prayer wall would look like. So if another user logged into the app in their prayers for others section, there's a possibility that they would see your prayer, and you can choose to make it anonymous, or you can choose to have your username attached to it. And then they get the option to pray for your prayer request and click I prayed. At any time, the user will see 3 public prayer requests. So if you pray for all those requests and you hit refresh, you get the option to refresh, you can get 3 more public prayer requests. But we do this because we don't just want to have a million prayers on everybody's apps. We want them to pray specifically and pray intentionally. So we have 3 prayers for others. And then here at the bottom, you have your own prayer request, right? So you can see where I just added this prayer request. So when I wake up in the morning and I'm going through my prayer list, if I'm doing my Just Do One feature, I'll see that this prayer will pop up, and I can click I prayed. Now, you can click on your prayer request, and you can have an update to that prayer. All right, so let's say that you're praying through it, and you're praying through Proverbs 3:5-6 for your pastor, and you get an update that something good has happened. So you can say, you can come in here, and you can add that to your prayer request, if I can learn how to spell. And you can add that. So now there's an update that something good has happened. Okay, so what's interesting now is when somebody else was to go in, they can see the updates to your prayers if they follow your prayer. So a user can follow a specific prayer, and if so, whenever you give updates, they'll receive updates on how that prayer is going. We have different types. We have praises, we have answers, and we have notes. So let's say you're praying for someone who's taking chemo treatments. There's a note that there's a new procedure they're going to try, right? You can update people who are following your prayers with that as well. So the prayer journal is a really powerful feature to see how God works over time. So really excited to have that here, and also have the ability to make prayers public. When we join together and we all pray together, that's a really cool, that's a really awesome thing. So we like to have that as an option. You can always edit your prayer from up here. You can mark it as answered, which kind of takes it off the prayer wall and kind of archives it for you, or you can manually archive it. But these are all options that exist, so you can make sure to keep track of your prayer life. And then there's a streak, right? So every day that you pray, that's tracked. All your answered prayers is tracked. If there's any other features y'all would like added, of course, you can always come up here to the feedback button up top. and we can add more feedback to continue to make the prayer list a better feature for everyone to use to grow closer in their walk with Christ and become greater defenders of the faith.